I told myself that I could balance college, work, and launching a startup. And for a while, I actually believed it.
Yeah.
You see, in the last episode, we had a working web prototype. We fixed some bugs on the site and we even got some users. But this is an app, so I do need to turn it into one. So I watched a couple tutorials, read a couple articles, and went over some of the docs. And after a day or so, I knew that I was ready. For the front end, I'm using the React Native Framework Expo, which makes it insanely easy to build and deploy cross-platform apps. For the backend, I went with Convex. It's a serverless backend that handles my database, authentication, and even backend functions all in one place. I know a lot of people use like Firebase or Supabase, but I find Convex to be a bit more developer-friendly, and it's just what I'm used to. And for authentication, I'm using Clerk, which integrates super cleanly with React Native, handles sign-ins, user profiles, and all of that stuff out of the box. That's it, simple, fast, and powerful. Now it was finally time to start development. Okay, so it is officially 3 weeks since I started development, and I'm not really sure where my head is at. I mean, the past few weeks have been a bit of a blur. I was grinding nonstop, you know, classes during the day, coding at night. Couple that with the fact that I'm working on another startup, I just feel like I'm starting to lose motivation. Here's the thing, it's not just the overwhelming workload, but what really kills me are the setbacks. I wasn't really used to mobile development, so there was a bit of a learning curve. For example, authentication was pretty easy, but the scraper that I built for the web prototype wasn't able to run on a mobile environment, so I had to rebuild the entire thing from scratch. Also, don't even get me started on building an iOS app on a Windows laptop. I'm starting to lose hair just thinking about it. But even through all of this, I stayed strong and worked through every single task one by one. I really thought I was getting close, but Apple had other plans. My app got rejected. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. Okay, so this first rejection is kind of stupid. My app didn't even have an icon yet. Luckily, this was an easy fix. All I did was hop into Figma and quickly threw one together. However, every submission after that had a different reason. I had no idea that such small things were so massive. Of course, these rejections did not help with my already decreasing motivation. It just made things worse. And I had tunnel vision, and I needed a sort of reset. Therefore, I decided, let me change my environment. I decided to pause. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I flew to Morocco to stay there for 2 weeks. I initially thought this was the start to a very productive break. You know, I see all these influencers like Mark Liu and all those guys who go over to different countries, travel the world, and somehow are ultra productive. But for me, unfortunately, that was not the case. I tried working a bit on the plane to test my coding without cursor skills. However, when I was trying to test the app, it wouldn't work without an internet connection, so that led me to my first task, build a no internet screen. What's crazy is this was one of the few tasks that I was actually able to accomplish on this trip. Now, usually whenever I would come to Morocco in the summer, I'd mostly be around family, sometimes go to the beach, but I wouldn't really travel a lot, I wouldn't explore. This time I made it my goal, my mission sort of, to explore as much as I could, because you know, this vacation I'm not going to be super productive, but once I get back to the States, it's time to lock in. 13 days later, and I visited over 5 cities, and I really enjoyed my time. Vacation time over though, and now I'm hopping on a plane from Casa to New York and getting right back to work. I arrived back home, energized and ready to dive back into the project. I set up my workspace, I reviewed my notes, and I felt like a renewed sense of focus. I had one thing on my mind, and it was tackling those Apple rejections head on. I outlined a new plan of attack detailing each issue and potential solutions, and it was time to finally end all the planning and start working. And boom, I was knocking down stuff one by one. I completed the part picker feature, I made the profile setup, I even built the new AI mechanic feature. But when trying to implement the in-app purchases, everything went wrong. Okay, so apparently Expo has a new update. Now they're on like version 53 or something. So the thing is, in order to test it on the fly,
What I was using was Expo Go. It's an app on my device that I can download. I take a picture of the QR code in the terminal, and then I can use my app. It takes like 20 seconds to load up, but it's really fast and really simple to use. With this update, my actual code base is still on version 52, I think. So I can't really use Expo Go on my phone anymore because this is version 53. So I decided, let me just update the version on the code base, and then that should fix the problem. However, this was a huge mistake. Okay, I might have just destroyed this whole project, and there honestly might not be a way of me getting it back. Since I'm now having problems with the GitHub repo, this could be months and months of work all going down the drain. However, you guys know me. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep at it and see where I get. That's beautiful, isn't it? After a couple hours of typing and banging my head across the keyboard, I reverted the repository to the previous Expo version. So now, unfortunately, I can't use Expo Go to test the app, so I'll have to create a build for the app, submit it on TestFlight, and then update it on my phone every time I want to test. Of course, this is not ideal, but it's what I gotta do now. Let's just hope it doesn't cause any future problems. Okay, so I submitted to the App Store twice so far. The first time there was a problem with in-app purchases again. For some reason, it was not working even on my end. But the fix was like in my face the entire time. I couldn't properly test it because it wouldn't work on my end because the account that I was using already had a subscription. So it didn't make sense to purchase a new subscription if you already have one.
If user has subscription, don't let them try to buy another subscription.
Now that was a super simple fix, and all I have to do is build and submit to the App Store again.
Build.
And building. Huh. That's weird. I don't know why it didn't work on build. Why is it not working? Okay, as you know, I'm using Expo to do a lot of the builds and submitting to the App Store. However, I'm on the free version, so I ran out of free builds, and now I have to wait until next month to get them refilled. Oh, I'm not sure what to do. If I don't want to wait, I had to cough up to like $30 or whatever their premium plan costs. I don't know. I'm not sure what to do.